All right, when last y'all joined your intrepid hero, I was making a hash of changing my thermostat under the faulty impression that the thermostat was bad. And I struggled with the seal that didn't come with the thermostat. What I should have done is bought one of these, which is the correct seal, supposedly, for said thermostat to replace the O-ring that I took out that was cut. Now what I think was happening, and if you listen, you can hear that same noise with this one. What I think is going on is that O-ring is not just a seal in this system. It is actually intended to hold the thermostat in the bottom of the housing. So when I just put that other seal and hammered it around this water neck and got it on there, I mean, it's sealed. It's not leaking, but it's only doing half of the job. It's only sealing this water neck to the intake manifold. It is not holding the thermostat in the bottom of the housing. So what happens is when this thing pressurizes, it pushes the thermostat up and coolant is able to leak around the sides of the thermostat plate, whether or not it is open or closed. So I thought about it a little bit last night, and it occurred to me that this is probably my issue. So I have stopped and picked up a seal and a little bit more of my Xerox, and we're going to do this again. So we're going to pull this back off, take that thing that I stuck on the neck off because it's not right. I mean, at some point I get disappointed with my own levels of half-assetery, and then I'm going to go into how I believe this thing should be assembled and see if it works. So I'm going to pull this neck off. You saw that in the other video, which I will show in, up here somewhere. Click there if you want to see the rest of this assembly and disassembly. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go in there and take a look at what we got and then see if this is what I think it is. Okay, so here we are again. What you've got is the thermostat fits in there down onto the metal, and as you can see, it's kind of a loose fit. But what you also have is on this piece, there's a pretty hefty taper on it. And what I believe the correct way to do this is take that other gasket, the new O-ring, and that has to go in here first. Push that down, woo, hot, until that seats. And now you can put this on. That taper will grab the O-ring, push it down, create the seal, and lock it in place. That is, I believe, the correct steps to changing this housing, or this thermostat. So we're going to do this, we're going to put it back together, and we're going to see if it's actually going to seal, because yeah, it looks like there's a little play in that. It's not all the way down, it's not sitting metal on metal yet. So as that thing compresses, that taper is going to push down on that O-ring, and that's going to hang on to that. What I had done before is I had put the O-ring on the neck first because I thought it was a standard type O-ring. It isn't. It is actually intended, from what I can determine, you put the thermostat in, you put the O-ring around on top of it, then you put this tapered water neck back on it and bolt it down, and that should create the seal. So now we're going to tighten this up, button it back up, add some more coolant again, and try it one more time. And I'll bet this time we get closer to my target temperature. See if I can show if this thing moves as we tighten it down. Starting to take a seat. Starting to take a seat. And now we're metal on metal. So the key is now, will that hold? I think it will, but we're going to put it back together, plug everything in, and find out. First glance, seems to be sealing. I started it, we were at 167. Give it a few minutes, see if she comes up the temp. All right. I guess this thing just doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of heat. The best I can do is get it up to about 188. And I don't know. I'm going to start putting some cardboard in front of the bloody radiator on this thing to see if I can even get it to get to 195 in a controlled manner, because this is silly. If that's what it takes, now that I know that I believe I have that thermostat and gasket installed appropriately, I don't know that there's much else left to do. But I really want this thing to be running a little warmer. And it seems odd. I mean, 186 is fine. It's higher than most cars. Most cars come with a 180 right now or whatever, but I'd like it to be a little warmer than that, because if you can run your oil where it's supposed to be, you got temperatures, you'll be less likely to condense in the oil and all sorts of other things that can cause problems longer term. But we're going to try something else in a little bit. Got it. We are about there. But I still haven't seen 195 yet. And I have literally blocked off half of the radiator with cardboard. I tested all the temperatures when I got home, and they were all running low 180s. The top of the radiator, the aluminum piece on the top of the radiator, was actually like 120. So that might not be terribly full, but it still doesn't seem to matter. And now we're giving it a little bit of a test. Oh, there we go. We got 197. Son of a gun. Everything looks full as far as the antifreeze goes, and I would expect that if it weren't, we wouldn't be cooling at all. But there we go, back to 194. Now it finally opened. The thermostat has finally opened. I will give Ford credit for the cooling system on this truck. While I was in there, I looked at it. We got the big radiator. It's got to be a 3-inch core radiator, full width. There is a separate transmission cooler from the radiator and a separate power steering cooler from the radiator. So this thing has some serious cooling capacity. And given that it was originally sold in Texas, I guess that makes sense, but I would expect that that's pretty common for all of them. Right now, I think she's good to go. I'm going to keep my cardboard in there and keep an eye on it, and go from there. So we finally got the thing to come up the temperature. This thing just doesn't run hot, and it's got a whole bunch of cooling unrelated to the engine radiator, which is good, I suppose. So y'all take care.